what I'm about ready to talk to you about is admittedly anecdotal evidence, but it is my own personal lived experience. For a little over a quarter of a century, I worked with predominantly Mexican immigrants, and a vast majority of those were undocumented Mexican immigrants, predominantly from the state of Michoacán. Over the course of my career, I got to know these undocumented Mexican immigrants very well. I went to the hospital when this one had his appendix burst or had kidney problems, or visited the family when this one did X, Y, and Z, had these guys over to the house for A, B, and C, and I got to know these folks on more than just a work level, got to know them on a personal level. And some of the most solid stand-up people I've ever met in my entire life. Hardworking, very family-oriented, very religious. So much so that in the landscape industry, at least here in the Chicagoland area, don't plan on working on Good Friday because nobody's coming in if you have Mexican immigrants as laborers. They do not work on Good Friday. And they were just good, honest, hardworking people that wished their own country had the kind of opportunities and jobs that they could find in this country. But they don't, so they come here because everybody needs to be able to put food on the table. Over the course of my life, I've also had the opportunity to, on top of working with undocumented immigrants, be able to live next door to Mexican families. Specifically, when my wife and I were living in Franklin Park, there was a fantastic Hispanic family living next door. And in getting to know Hispanic immigrants and in living next to Hispanic immigrants, I can tell you two things. One, when they throw a party, they throw a fucking party, okay? That thing might kick off at 4 p.m. on a Saturday, but it's going to stop at 9 p.m. on a Sunday. They are always going to have music, they are always going to have dancing, and they are always going to have ice-cold beer and plenty of hot food. And it doesn't matter who you are. You're walking down the street, stop into a Mexican party sometime. They'll be like, hey, come on in. When we lived in Franklin Park, my wife's family owned this house that we lived in. It sat on 3 lots. There was a lot on one side that was just lawn, and then the lot with the house and lawn, so it equated to one big lawn. And then the next house or the next lot was a gravel driveway that went from the street to the alley, and then there was a chain link fence, and then the Hispanic family there. So you pull into your driveway, and there's just a chain link separating you and the party that's going on. And every time they're throwing a party every time. You come in and like, oh, no, come on, man. I'm telling you, some of the best neighbors you will ever have are Mexicans. I've lived next to them for. I love my white neighbors too. I love my black neighbors. I love all kinds of my neighbors. But I'm telling you, you hear that party going on your block? Go say hi, man.
It's 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, and one of the neighbors is having a loud-ass party, right? And no one's going to call the cops in this neighborhood because everyone in this neighborhood, it's a nice neighborhood, they mind their damn business. I'll tell you another reason why. Because if I walk over there right now, which I'm fixing to do, they'll feed me. And they'll give me a beer.
Damn right they will.
Fucking gotta love it, bro.
You goddamn right they will. And the music is awesome. They're just happy people, man. They're just happy people. And if you walk down the street to that Mexican party and just stop and be like, hey guys, what's up, man? They're going to be like, oh, no, come on. You want a plate? You want a beer? Because they are in celebration mode, man. You guys that don't like the Hispanic immigrants, man, you're you are missing out, man. You're really missing out.